Hi guys, so I recently unboxed the iPhone 16e and obviously we can all tell this iPhone is looking really stylish, but I wanted to see how well it performs in daily life. So today I'm gonna take this iPhone with me throughout the day, see the battery and camera performance, and also we're gonna be comparing to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Even though I know you cannot fully compare these iPhones, this is supposed to be a budget iPhone, but it really isn't budget. But I guess compared to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it is a budget iPhone. It's like half the price, more than half the price. Yes, if you're wondering if the iPhone 16e is gonna be enough for you or if you should save up, this might be useful. So yeah, let's get started with our day. So we can see that this iPhone is currently down at 1%, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to show you how fast it can charge. Of course, I'm gonna use the charger it came with in the box. So this is a USB-C to USB-C cable, and this iPhone is supposed to come with 20 watts charging speed, and Apple is promising 50% charge in 30 minutes, which sounds really good actually. And if you're going out in like 30 minutes, you need to charge your phone, you can actually get half a full charge. But let's see if it's actually true. Okay, so we started charging at 5:13. Okay, now it's 5:14, so let's come back in 10 minutes. I'm not gonna use the phone at all, and also it doesn't have always on display, so nothing going on here that can drain the battery. Okay, so I'm actually also gonna put my iPhone 16 Pro Max at charging. This is currently at 61%, so definitely more. I don't think it's gonna charge as fast because it usually charges faster from 0%. I also have my always on display on with this. In the meantime, I'm just gonna get ready for the day. I feel like this is actually a really realistic scenario because sometimes I just forget to charge my phone and then I realize right as I'm getting ready to go out. So that's why I feel like, at least for me, it's definitely an inconvenience if my phone doesn't charge up really fast. Like obviously you can always bring your power bank, but I also feel like we're in 2025. If our new iPhone doesn't charge up fast, I feel like what is Apple even doing? Okay, so it's now been exactly 10 minutes. Let's see what this iPhone is at. It's actually already at 22%. Okay, so let's close it down again and we'll check back in 10 more minutes. Okay, so now it's been 20 minutes and this phone is at 40%, but this is really good. We're almost at 50%. I'm gonna close it down again and we'll come back when we're charged for 30 minutes. But I think Apple's promise is definitely true because we're almost there. It's actually really impressive that in the time it took me to get ready, in that time, the phone is already at 40% from 1%. Okay, and now the iPhone 16 Pro Max has charged for 20 minutes, so let's check. We're at 78%. So this phone is officially charged 17% in 20 minutes, which is good. Not as good, but also you can't compare it because this wasn't down at 1%. Okay, so we're officially at 30 minutes and I unplugged the iPhone and it's currently at 56%. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty impressive. 30 minutes is all it takes to get over 50%. Okay, but now the big question is, how long is this gonna last me if I'm going out? So I thought I would actually head out, do a couple of errands, go through my day as usual. I'm probably gonna take some photos with this iPhone, vlog a little bit like I normally would. Let's see if 56% is gonna last me throughout the day. Okay, so I'm currently packing my bag to bring with me when I go out. I thought I would maybe go work at a cafe or something. And these are some of the accessories I like to pack with me when I go out. So I like to bring my MagSafe wallet because you can attach it to the back of your phone. Only one problem, the iPhone 16e doesn't have MagSafe, but we do have a solution, and that is a MagSafe case. I know people have been doing this for a real long time with older iPhones that it doesn't have MagSafe. If you just put on a MagSafe case, your phone will get MagSafe. you can hear that it just snapped on. It stays really secure from falling off. Same thing with the power bank. You can see my phone even started charging. And the power bank I like to use is the ESR G2 MagSlim Kickstand power bank. And thank you ESR for sponsoring this video. This is a really powerful and fast charging power bank for less waiting and more charging. It has 15 watts charging, but also safety so it doesn't overheat. You can actually charge your iPhone 16 Pro from 0 to 50% in only 46 minutes. So you get smart, safe, and travel-ready charging with AI-powered heat management, and you never have to wonder about the power bank status. It has a little side screen that shows the battery status while charging. Honestly, one of my favorite features of this power bank is this kickstand. This is so convenient for travel and on-the-go use, and is also perfect for watching videos, so you can continue watching your YouTube videos and use the phone hands-free. And this also makes it possible to have your phone in standby mode. Of course, you can use the kickstand in both vertical and horizontal mode. This power bank has a super strong magnet. Even if you're literally shaking your phone, it stays on really securely. And this power bank comes in so many cute colors, light blue and lavender, so it makes an adorable accessory. If you guys want to check out this power bank, I will link it in the description. Okay, so one thing that I'm already noticing when I open the camera is the iPhone 16 Pro Max has the camera control. It's this button right here. So I'm right-handed, but if I'm holding something else in my right hand and I want to open the camera with my left hand, it's really easy with the camera control, and you can even snap a photo. Okay, now trying that with the iPhone 16e, this doesn't have the camera control, so you can't open the camera like that. I don't really see that as a problem usually, but if you have a lot in your hands, or if you're holding your phone in the wrong hand, it is actually such a convenience to have a camera control. But with that said, this iPhone is also a much more convenient size than the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so it's not too hard to reach for the camera button and snap some photos. But I can definitely see if I'm holding my phone like this, it is kind of a hassle. I personally don't think this is a deal breaker. I think the camera control is really nice to have. I think the reason I use it so much is because this phone is so big, whereas with this phone it's a much more convenient size. Okay, it's definitely easier with this phone. So yeah, even though the camera control is really convenient, I don't think it's big enough of a feature to make the iPhone 16e outdated in 2 to 3 years, just because it doesn't have a camera control. And we can't forget that this iPhone actually has the action button, where if you hold the action button, it opens the camera. And also, of course, with the customization, you can now actually customize the lock screen. So if you're left-handed and you won't be able to easily open the camera, you can just put a camera button here like that, and now it's much easier opening the camera. Do you wanna go for a walk? I love working on my phone. I do a lot of work from my phone, and one of the biggest reasons I could still do work on this phone is because it has a USB-C input, just like the rest of the iPhone 16 series. This is a really game changer because it makes it possible to attach a hard drive to the phone with a USB-C cable, and then I can easily access all of my files, all of my YouTube videos, and I can continue working on those videos on my phone. And I can also transfer files really easily. So this is really nice. Even though this iPhone doesn't have a lot of storage, it only has 128 gigabytes. I save a lot of storage by not having to transfer all those photos and video files into my photo album. I can keep them on the hard drive. Okay, so we're back home. We sat at the cafe for quite a while, got some work done, and it was like storming outside, so now I'm like freezing and all cuddled up here in the sofa, and I thought I would actually watch some YouTube videos on the phone, because one thing I really like on my 16 Pro Max is watching YouTube videos. Yeah, let's see if watching YouTube videos on the iPhone 16e is any different than the 16 Pro Max. So when watching YouTube videos, I would say nothing actually feels different other than, of course, the screen is a bit smaller, but I still think it works great for watching YouTube videos, especially because you can zoom in like that and make the video cover the entire screen. But one thing that needs to be mentioned with this iPhone is it comes with a 60Hz refresh rate instead of 120. I've seen a lot of people have been criticizing this iPhone for that reason, because a lot of cheaper phones like Android come with 120 instead of 60, so 60 definitely feels a little like outdated. I don't think you really notice it when watching YouTube videos, but when you notice it is if you're like scrolling really fast, for example scrolling through like videos, like it's just a little bit laggy. Yeah, I'm not sure you can tell a difference through the camera, but this is the 16 Pro Max and this is the 16e. And actually I do think you can notice this iPhone feels a little slower. If we compare it to the 16 Pro Max, it's very smooth. I think what you would notice the lower refresh rate is if you're playing games. I don't usually play games on my phone, but just to try it out, I'm gonna download a couple of games. Okay, so in this game, I think everything runs really smoothly. I can't tell like any lag at all, but we're gonna try another game. I couldn't really notice any lag, but I'm gonna try playing it on the 16 Pro Max. I couldn't really tell a difference when playing games, but also I never play games usually on my phone. But something I definitely spend a lot of time doing is check Pinterest. So I thought we could scroll through Pinterest a little bit to see how the refresh rate affects scrolling Pinterest. I can see it. This is not as satisfying as scrolling Pinterest on my 16 Pro Max. Wait, this is kind of like making me dizzy, if that makes sense. Definitely not as smooth, and I kind of feel like I'm wearing a really bad pair of glasses. It's just like making everything a little blurry. I don't know how to describe it, but I think you can see how much like smoother this is. Okay, so I definitely see the difference, and I want to say it's not a big deal, but it kind of feels like a big deal, honestly. I guess if you're not used to the Pro Max, I'm not sure this is gonna be a big deal, but yeah, if you go from using that to then using a 60 refresh rate, like it feels like a pretty big step back because it immediately makes the iPhone feel a few years older. Okay, so now that we've been using the phone for a while, let's check the battery percentage. So we're currently at 43%, which means we're down 13% for the day so far, which is actually not bad. Okay, so when I was out, I took a bunch of pictures on the iPhone 16e, and I usually love how the pictures turn out, which is currently not the case with the 16e. I'm going through the pictures from today and I'm like, I don't think they look very good at all. I think there's just something about the lighting being like very dark. And on the 16e, the picture just looks like pretty dark, but on the 16 Pro Max, I don't know, it does something with the lighting, so it looks a lot more natural. Just the colors look a lot better, and this is a very casual picture, like no effort put in, but here you can really see a difference where one picture actually turned out pretty good. Like, also took some mirror pictures. You can also see the difference in lighting here, but yeah, there's definitely a difference in the colors here as well. It looks a little bit more yellowish, and also it had a really hard time focusing when I was taking pictures of Molly. Obviously, like, she was moving around a lot, but on my 16 Pro Max, it usually has pretty good focus. I'm not really happy with the camera, but that is if you compare it to the 16 Pro Max. Also, one feature I love using with my 16 Pro Max is the ultra wide camera. So I was actually really surprised that the 16e doesn't have that. We only have the 1x zoom or a 2x zoom, and then same thing in video mode. I'm a big fan of the zoom out camera on the 16 Pro Max, especially for filming videos. Actually, at the cafe, I was trying to take a video of my food, and with the 16E I got like kind of close up to my food and I wanted to zoom out, but I couldn't because there's no ultra wide zoom. It only has one little camera here and it's called a 2-in-1 camera system, but I think it's actually pretty disappointing because even the iPhone 13 has an ultra wide camera. Okay, so it's time to make some dinner. One thing I love when making dinner is watching a YouTube video on my phone, like having it right in front of me, just having something on in the background. And usually when I have a video on and put on a timer, I can still see the timer on the dynamic island on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I just like literally now remembered that the iPhone 16e doesn't have a dynamic island. It just has this little notch. So when you go to turn on the timer and exit the app and go to like YouTube, you're not going to be able to see the timer in any way. You have to actually switch to apps and pause your video to check how much you have left of your timer, which is kind of annoying. Maybe not a big deal to some people. I don't know, it does feel like a little bit of an inconvenience. So on the 16 Pro Max, it lets me monitor the timer while multitasking. So if I'm like cooking or having my hands wet, I don't have to like actually go into my phone and touch the screen and change the apps. I literally just glimpse at the dynamic island. But on the iPhone 16e, I would actually go and have to wash my hands and then change the apps to check the timer. So okay, so I'm now grocery shopping, and again this is where the dynamic island really makes a difference, because I usually keep my grocery list in my reminders and then I like to listen to a podcast. So if we put on a podcast and we exit the app, go to our reminders, we can still really easily control the podcast. And then on the iPhone 16e we have to switch between the different apps. We can control the podcast from the dynamic island. If we're playing the podcast, you can't even see it here, so there's no way to like control it while you're reading your grocery list.